down the ground this time for one.
It's been a good over so far for Zimbabwe after that early wicket of Brian Chari. Nice little comeback here in the second over.
Just a single then to end the over. A good one for Zimbabwe. 15 from it. 16 for one.
A mixed start for Zimbabwe. Two very different overs we've had so far, Tino. Has provided us entertainment all round.
Absolutely. Early breakthrough, which is what Paras Katka would have wanted. But a really good innings. Sorry, really good over. Second one for Zimbabwe. 15 runs from it. And it's going to be Karan Casey. Flicked down the leg side. That's unfortunate for the keeper. Awkward bounce just in front of him. Leg by signalled.
You're a little bit surprised they've already made that change? That bowling change?
I wouldn't say surprised. I think Paras Katka wanted an early wicket. He got that from Sandeep Lamichhane. I think he's also just seen PJ Moore getting after the spinners, striking the ball well. Haven't seen much turn from Lamichhane like we did early when he bowled in the last game. So he's probably thought, maybe let me just try and pull back the reins, hold him back for later on in the innings. Or maybe he might take him to the end where the second over was bowled.
Chokava comes out. He means business. Probably seen what his partner's doing at the other end. Doesn't get anything for it. A little bit of improvisation doesn't quite work out for him.
Looks like KC Curran picked that up because he's just rolled the fingers over that slower ball. And that's probably what got the ball to just bounce over the stumps. Had it been the regular delivery, possibly wouldn't have bounced so high and gone over that leg stump. Played the shot a couple of times the other night, Regis Chakaba. When he gets it right, gets value for his shots.
It's been a couple of balls down leg side already. It's painful, isn't it, for any pace bowler out there? And you can see 5 wides. First time this series, Zimbabwe are batting first. And so, what are they aiming for? Have you talked to the boys over the last few days? How's that set?
Well, obviously, disappointed bunch after the performance the other evening. If you look at the first game against Nepal as well, it took a massive partnership at the end between Burl and Tumbami to get them across the line. So Sean Williams has made his intentions pretty clear in the last couple of games that he was happy to chase. He wanted to bowl first in both of those first 2 encounters for Zimbabwe. But they'll be looking to get a big score on the board. They would have seen the other night when Nepal chased 150 in just 16 overs against Singapore. Paras Katka, that wonderful 106 in just 52 balls. And they would have seen how they were going the other night until they threw it away. So they know they'll need a very decent total on the board. 181 the other night, but that was only in 18 overs, not in 20. So I'm pretty sure they've said to themselves, listen here guys, batting first, new surface. We need to make sure we can get ourselves 190 plus here.
By the way, just getting news that Binod Pandare, the Nepal keeper, has got a slight hamstring strain, so he's not moving particularly well. Just keep an eye out for him on this final ball.
Nearly snuck in there. He's very lucky, Regis Chakaba, to get bat onto that and get it past the man at 45 for 4. So, ends off well the over. Another good one for Zimbabwe. 3 gone, 29 for 1.
Nepal captain Paras Katka obviously feeling this is the way to go right now. Though it wasn't so good that last over, was it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Paras Katka has decided to take the spinners off after that devastating second over at PJ Moore. Took to the spinners, 15 off it after just 1 run in the first over. Bowled by Sandeep Lamichhane.
Sompal coming up now. What did you make of the wicket today?
It definitely looks a lot drier than what we've had in the first game between these two teams. That's because obviously we've had 3 games in a row, and that was on the pitch next to that, number 2. This is number 1, and it just looks like a batting surface. Again, no grass.
Quick single, nicely done. Yeah, Tino got a chance to go look at the pitch beforehand, like he always does before every match. Does a little inspection for us.
Yeah, very similar to what we had the other day. Those cracks show you just how dry the surface is. And no grass, and it just looks to me like we're not going to get too much turn from this either. Looks a real good batting surface, but we know that teams like to bat second here and chase, like what's happened in the last couple of games.
An appeal in that last delivery, not given. Bowls bowl so far. Decent line and length. Nothing that's causing the batsman too much trouble, but right, you want to keep that run. It's gone for the big swipe, and he pays the price there. Chakava heads back, and they've got the second wicket.
I don't know if he has to go across the line here. Mid-on and mid-off are both in the circle. All you need to do is get good bat on it, and it's going over those guys with a minimum of fuss. Yes, go over the top, but not across the line. That'll be disappointing for the Zimbabwean change room, the manner in which that Richard Chakapa has gone. 3.4 overs in. Zimbabwe now 30 for 2.
Zimbabwe captain Sean Williams is in. Hello, welcome to the match. That last dismissal. Across the line from the cover.
He'll be disappointed. Looked good in the last game. Regis Chakabva, and the change from spin in the first couple of overs to spin in the next couple has worked for Paras Kadka. It's another wicket from Sompal. And a really good second over from him. 1 run from it, 1 wicket, that of Regis Chakabva. Zimbabwe now 30 for 2.
Been a mixed bag here at the Singapore Indian Association in these first 4 overs. A couple of 2 very good overs for each side. 30 for 2 we are. Here's Lamichane. Oh, he's made that appeal. It's a pretty strong one. Did that seem like a stronger appeal than the previous one?
That certainly looked more out to me than the one of Brian Chari, but it has turned into the batsman slightly. And the umpire possibly just thinking that that's going to be going past the leg stump. Big appeal. Looked very nervous, PJ Moore.
Well, that's how he's been dealing with the spinners today. That makes it all the way. He's far more comfortable for them, isn't he?
If the ball is pitched up from the spinners, PJ Moore is going to go for it, whether there's a man back or not. He's got long arms, big levers, and he takes advantage of that. So 36 for 2 now, Zimbabwe, but he won't stop if that ball is pitched up.
He's gone for it again. Not quite got the connection. In fact, that last 6 he got was the least cleanly hit one of the 3 boundaries that he's scored so far. He's going for his shots.
He is indeed. And like I said, Zimbabwe would have seen that all 3 teams winning here. Have seen that in the second part of the game, it's very, very difficult to defend scores here. PJ Moore wasn't in the Zimbabwean side that toured Bangladesh prior to this. You know, he's got a point to prove.
Nice ball there from Lamichane and Sean Williams. First taste of that. I think this is going to turn into a rather interesting match.
Nicely played by Sean Williams. The key for me is the manner in which they play this man, Lamichane. Paras brought him on to open the bowling in the last game because he needed early wickets, got those early wickets and pegged Zimbabwe back 28 for 4 at one stage. After having a whirlwind start, I think 12 they got in the first over. Brian Chari was looking good. But the manner in which Zimbabwe play this guy is what's going to be important. Singapore made sure he didn't get wickets. Bowled him. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. It's the googly. And he's brought him forward, PJ Moore. Gap between bat and pad. And that's all he needed, Sandeep Lamichane. We're talking about it's important about how Zimbabwe play him. This time he's gone for the forward defensive PJ Moore, and the ball sneaking through that gap. 5 overs gone, Zimbabwe 38 for 3.
लेग स्पिन यस पछाडि गुगली र गुगलीमा नै सन्दीपले 2 विकेट लिएका छन् आजको खेलमा दुवै ब्याट्सम्यानलाई गुगलीमा फसाउन सफल भएका छन् बलिङ निकै नै शानदार थियो बोल्ड गराइदिएका थिए
And Navneet Krishna.
Thank you, Shazad. Great delivery from Sandeep Lamachane. Of the dangerous
And Navneet Krishna.
It's been brilliant tonight. Got the opening wicket. Has come back. Got rid of the danger man. Zimbabwe 38 for 3 after 5. And good to have Nav in the studio as well, joining me. Good evening, Nav.
Very good evening, Adrian. You probably have to say that it's Nepal that have drawn first blood here in the first 5 overs, 38 for 3. Fantastic strike there from Sean Williams, and he's well on his way. A good-looking cover drive, final over before the power play comes to an end, and he's taking full advantage with an offer, and he was happy to find the gap on the offside through covers, races away.
Has a big job to do tonight, does Sean Williams. Has to lead from the front. Rebuild. Needs a partnership here, Zimbabwe. It's been a terrific start by Nepal, though. I mean, we saw how good they were with the ball the last time these two sides played and how effective Sandeep Lamachane was. And he's proving once more how dangerous he is with the ball.
Yeah, it was possibly the best bowler we've seen in all of the Singapore Tri-Nations from Sandeep Lamachane to get rid of Peter Moore there. You're watching a genius at work, ladies and gentlemen. Sandeep Lamachane finding the gap between bat and pad, clipping the bails. Sheer artistry this from Sandeep Lamachane. What a talent he is. And that certainly has pegged Zimbabwe on the back foot. Driven to covers once again, this time finds the fielder. The onus on the captain, Sean, again, Adrian.
Yeah, we see that he has quite the responsibility tonight, as he did the previous night. Needs a partnership here with Mutumbodzi. His captain needs him out there in the middle. Stick around. We've seen some great partnerships in this Tri-Nation series so far, and he needs one here.
Nah, that's too cheeky from Sean. You don't want to be running for that. That certainly would have been curtains and wicket number 4. Mutumbodzi doing the right thing by telling the captain, hang in there, buddy. Very disciplined effort from Sompal Kami this evening into a second over. He got the wicket of Regis Chakabwa on what was a very unnecessary shot in the context of the situation. And he's kept his line, his length. Worked well for him so far.
Been brilliant. Set him up perfectly. But it was a nothing shot from Chakabva. Big appeal. Nothing given.
An optimistic appeal, you'd probably have to say. That was certainly drifting down the leg side. Take another look at this. Actually, on second thoughts, possibly a little closer than I thought it was.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Looks, at first glance, it didn't look that it was going to crash in, but I guess with ball tracking and other technologies, maybe a better insight into that delivery as Sompal Kami comes in for the last ball of his over.
Sean Williams happy to tuck away the last ball of the power play just for a single, and it comes to the end of 6 overs with Zimbabwe 43 for 3.
Back live once more. Zimbabwe 43 for 3 after 6 overs. End of the power play as Avinash Bahara comes into the attack.
You want to be careful when you're playing Avinash Bora. Obviously, slingy action. He's a lot faster than you think he is. Very nippy off the pitch. And watch out for those toe crushers because he loves bowling those Yorkers.
There's been some assistance for the pace bowlers tonight. I mean, we haven't seen much of it this series. They're really getting some assistance off the pitch. Not as much as magician Sandeep Lamichhane.
It's been the Lamichhane factor once again, Adrian. It was the Lamichhane factor 4 nights ago on opening day here in Singapore, and he was all over the Zimbabweans. And guess what? It looks like it's a repeat in the little that we've seen so far. 2 fantastic wickets. One you'd probably have to say could have gone either way, the first one, but the second one, an absolute peach to get rid of more.
What a great story Sandeep Lamichhane is. Plays his cricket all over the world with the Melbourne Stars in Australia, the Delhi Capitals in the IPL. Now he's here representing his country, the Tri-Nations tournament here in Singapore.
Yeah. Not to forget the Barbados Tridents very recently in the Caribbean Premier League. Very, very big figure in the Everest Premier League back in Nepal as well. So the man loves his T20 cricket. Plenty of action that we've seen in the little over 6 overs that we've seen today. Plenty of action on Twitter as well. Good to see engagement on the social media handles as well as Sean Williams drives one comfortably down the ground. As always, happy to take questions from folks around the world tuning in. Happy to read out some of the best tweets as well. So you want to be doing hashtag Singapore Tri Nation and hashtag Nepal versus Zimbabwe, NEP versus VSZIM. Leave your tweets, questions, comments, and we'd love to read them out. It's been an entertaining evening so far here in Singapore. Very difficult to read this pitch like Paras mentioned at the toss.
It's a completely different pitch to what we saw the other night. Big scores. Then again, we've just come to the end of the power play. They need a partnership, build an innings. Sean Williams, the captain, brilliant last night. But was the case, he just ran out of partners.
Drifting down the left side there, picked away onto the deep square leg boundary easily by Mutambotsi, just a single though. 7 overs completed, 47 for 3. We've already seen a few tweets coming in about Avinash Bora. We know he's a talented bowler. Bikash Thapa says, Avinash has been doing great work at the death. Still feel he's not utilized well enough by the captain. I hope to see him completing his 4 overs. And we're getting a few comments, similar comments from quite a few folks. And probably rightly so, because Avinash has been economical in the little that we've seen so far of him. But he hasn't completed his quota. Interesting to see if Paras actually goes through with Avinash for the 4 overs today.
Yeah, it will be. But we've talked a lot about Sandeep Lamichhane. But how about Sompal Kami? How good has he been tonight? Picking up that crucial wicket. Economical. Only conceded 6 runs from his 2 overs so far. He's getting that line in length on point tonight as well. Been brilliant.
Sompal Kami has got to do that all over again. It is a little bit humid, certainly is a little humid today, but good conditions for a game of cricket.
Yeah, I was just outside a little while earlier. Quite pleasant. Too high. Ambitious appeal by Sompal Kami.
It almost felt like that was the action replay of the Regis Chakabwa delivery. You don't want to be playing cross the line. Sompal Kami is quite nippy off the pitch, so it comes in a lot faster. Batsman beaten for pace. They're playing down the wrong line as well.
I think Mutambodzi just getting a bit frustrated with himself. Not able to get to the other end. And give his captain strike, but you're right, we don't want to see a repeat of what happened to Chakabva. Zimbabwe are in trouble, and they don't want to make things worse.
Very disciplined effort by the Nepali bowlers today. Sean for a second probably thought that was rolling onto his stumps. But you're coming back to the Nepali bowlers. Sompal Kami, Sandeep Lamichhane, Avinash Bora. They've all been very disciplined, not giving too many extras away. The fielding's been on par as well. All in all, a very good team effort by the Nepali players today.
And the captain hasn't brought himself onto bowl either, so we still have to wait for that. We've seen what he can do with the bat the other night. Explosive innings.
We haven't seen Karan Casey as well.
We haven't seen Karan Casey as well, but they just have so many options.
And as a result of the loss of the early wickets for Zimbabwe, Captain Sean Williams will have to lead the rebuilding phase here. And it hasn't been easy. Runs have been hard to come by. We're into the 8th over. A touch under 50 the score at the moment, 49 for 3. So obviously a little from how the other games have gone about. We've been seeing runs. In fact, the last game we saw over 10 runs being scored for 36 overs.
Also the first time Zimbabwe are batting first in this tournament. Big appeal. As we take another look at this delivery by Sompal Kami. Economical.
Looks like we have some time for some fairly quiet today, unlike 2 nights ago where it was raining sixes and boundaries all along. Very nicely clipped off his patch, just the single though.
Eight overs done. Zimbabwe 50 for 3.
Well, Dipendra Thapa says, recognizing the batting performance of Nepal in the last match, especially from Captain Paras, Nepal needs a round of about 180 for a competitive match today. I'm not too sure what he means by that. Is he trying to say that Zimbabwe will have to score that much? A big heave to deep square leg, just a single though. Karan Casey, he had bowled 1 over. This is into his 2nd over, in fact.
Things have just slowed down quite a bit since that wicket of PJ Moore. The way he was batting out there, those huge sixes, it's been a lot harder now for these two out in the middle. Rather cautious approach. The Nepalese bowlers finding their lines.
Good looking cover drive that from the captain Sean Williams, aesthetically very pleasing to the eye. There's always something about left-handed batsmen, Adrian. We all know that. And Sean is one of that, one on that list, right?
Yes, he's a great batsman to watch. I mean, some of the ones that come straight into mind from watching loads of cricket. Shikhar Dhawan, brilliant, explosive batsman. Rishabh Pant, for example. There's David Warner. There's just something about a left-hander and a cover drive. As he nudges that for a single. Gets Mutambodzi back on strike. He's finding it hard here, Mutambodzi, today. 4 off 8. Quite frustrated with himself. We've seen a few attempts at the big heaves. He's got nothing to show for it so far. Nice looking shot. We'll go for 4. Mutambodzi here. Just a flick. 4 more to the total. Keeps the scoreboard ticking. Zimbabwe needed that. Singles just weren't cutting it for them. Nepal have been economical. But this might just be the opening.
Shot and pulls it away. Much needed boundary for Zimbabwe. Fantastic pull shot from Tino Mutambodzi. It was short, it was quick. And Mutambodzi was up to the mark. Good looking pull shot, 1 bounce to the right of the deep square leg fielder, and he gets himself 4 runs.
Back-to-back boundaries from Mutambodzi. I'd say this could be their opening. I mean, just runs are coming along quite nicely here. The right-hander wants to finish well here.
Decent finish for Karan Casey, and we come to the end of 9 overs with Zimbabwe 62 for 3.
Back live now as we see another bowling change. Pawan Saraf coming to bowl a little bit of spin.
His first game in the Singapore Tri-Nations T20I is playing in place of Ishan Pandey, the left-handed opening batsman. It's going to be interesting to see how he goes about his business, Pawan Saraf. The tactic probably is to spin it away from the left-handed Sean Williams, entice him to play against the spin.
Brilliant cover drive there by Sean Williams. That's what we're talking. There's something about a left-hander and a cover drive. It's just never gets old. So aesthetically pleasing to watch Sean bat. He can do what he did the other night and just stick around for a bit longer. Never know. Singapore could end up with a big total tonight. I mean, Zimbabwe.
Down the track comes Sean Williams. And he's happy with that one. Is that the first 6? Yes, the first 6 for Sean Williams. We saw a couple of mighty ones from Peter Moore earlier on. Dancing down the track. And a nice little heave over long on. 6 handsome runs.
Great strike from the captain. Starting to get a move along here is Sean Williams. Goes to 20 off 19. Well supported by Mutambodzi at the other end.
Tino was mentioning this in the previous game. You don't often see Sean stay out of form for a long time. He didn't have the best outing in Bangladesh. He missed out on his first opportunity here in Singapore as well. And he came back in typical Sean Williams fashion in the last game.
And it was that man again, Sandeep Lamachane, who got him in that first game for duck. So nothing shot really by the captain, but he's taken a lot more responsibility now, building an innings, trying to be more cautious. Goes again.
Just the single though on this occasion. Didn't quite make the contact that he did on that occasion when he hit that six. Just the single. Glad that it didn't go down the throat of long on.
Looked like it was going straight down the ground for another six, just for a moment. It's good to see conditions being rather nice and pleasant today, unlike the other day when we had to wait a little bit. But great conditions for cricket once again on a Tuesday evening here in Singapore at the Indian Association ground. Fans have turned out.
It's going to be interesting to see what Zimbabwe end up with. We saw 180 being scored in the previous game, and that almost wasn't enough. Seems to be a different story today. Probably around the 150 mark, yeah?
And that was 180 in just 18 overs, so a lot more to come here, particularly from these two out in the middle. End of the 10th over, Zimbabwe 72 for 3.
Right, back live with live pictures. You're watching game number 4 of the Singapore Tri Nations T20I, brought to you by Instarem. You can catch live action on multiple platforms, vcsports.com. You also have the option of Willow HD TV, the Singapore Cricket Association handle on Facebook, and the fan code app as well by Dream11. For the very first time, a change in the commentary box. I'm going to have Chamal De Silva from Sri Lanka. Pleasure having you here, Chamal.
Thank you, Navneet. It's turning out to be a very good game. That man, Sandeep Lamachane, back into the attack. He's bowled 2 previous overs and given away just 9 runs. Picked up 2 crucial wickets. Let's see how he goes in the back 10. Flicked away back with a square, just for a single.
It's the Sandeep Lamachane factor every single time, and I was mentioning this to Adrian a while back. He played a crucial role in that first game in helping Nepal restrict Zimbabwe. But that was unfortunately that effort went in vain as Zimbabwe ended up winning. And you saw some ordinary shots being played against him today as well. But that one against Peter Moore was one pitch of a delivery.
Yes, he really set up PJ Moore there. His bowling, I feel, at the correct trajectory and correct pace, maybe in the mid-90s. And we're using the Kookaburra regulation here. That's going to give a bit of purchase. Magnificent shot. Reverse swept it. Sean Williams has come out and he's showing that mindset and attitude. He's batting with a man like looks like he's got a point to prove.
Well, fantastic. That you obviously... You don't want to be too adventurous against Sandeep Lamachane, but Sean Williams' belief and confidence that he has in his own skill, he's happy playing the reverse sweep to someone like a Lamachane. And this time, just tucks it away on the leg side to mid-wicket for a single though. This is a good solid innings by Sean Williams. They needed that in the context of the situation. Very, very important 26 this from the captain.
Sean Williams is a class player, very experienced cricketer. And he's playing this game wonderfully. He's assessing the situation and he knows the importance of retaining his wicket. At the same time, the scoreboard needs to tick along. So he's playing the conditions beautifully here.
And Mutumbotsi has been an able partner thus far, 15 of 15. That's okay for the moment, considering that they still have a little over 9 overs left. They can go and shift gears a little later on, but it's important to have wickets in hand at the moment.
Absolutely. The way to go about it on this wicket and in this ground is to have wickets in hand and then load it up in the back 6.
And more importantly, don't give wickets to Sandeep.
Yes, and at the same time, you need to take him on as well. And that's what Sean Williams is doing here. He's giving a very good account.
Drifting on the leg side, and Sean Williams says thank you. We saw plenty of sixes hit down the ground for the first time. Behind the wicket, it goes over short fine leg for 6, number 2 for Sean Williams. And he's finally getting a move on. And Zimbabwe are slowly climbing up their run rate.
That was a very interesting delivery. Lamishane was bowling the googly, but he pitched it well outside leg stump. Was trying to catch Sean Williams at the top edge. But class batsman Sean Williams controlled the shot beautifully for 6.
A comeback that only Sandeep can pull off. Good comeback to the end the over. An expensive one for Sandeep Lamichhane. 13 off the over. 11 overs completed. 85 for 3. Right, back for the 12th over here, 85 for 3. And Chamal, you've obviously been spending a lot of time with the Singapore team, very closely associated to the association here. Talk to us a little bit about this tournament and what it means to Singapore cricket in itself.
I think, first of all, it's been a wonderful opportunity for our cricketers to step up and play to heavyweights, test playing nation, Zimbabwe. It was an honor to take the park with them.
And defeating them was an even bigger achievement.
Karan Casey here, continuing proceedings from the Balestier Road end. It's a good delivery. Yes, look, the results take care of themselves. We are very happy with the processors. Singapore Cricket Association, President Mahmood Ghaznavi and his ex-co, our Director of Coaching, Saad Khan Janjua, who's also our CEO, to organize such a tournament, to bring these teams down, and that gives us the opportunity to win matches.
And that was one of the objectives of having this tournament, is also because Singapore are very soon going to be taking the flight for the T20 qualifiers, and this is the perfect opportunity to try out all the combinations with the ball, with the bat.
Spot on enough. I think the whole idea, we are very clear what we want to extract out of this experience. The results, whether we win, lose, we don't get too excited about it, but we are in preparation mode for the global qualifiers. And if you want to perform like Lions, you have to train against Lions. So Zimbabwe are a world-class side, so is Nepal. It's always an honor to play with them.
Very disciplined effort from Karan Casey thus far in this over. Good line, good length. And coming back to what you were saying, Chamal, the other good thing about this tournament is it's a contest between 3 very evenly balanced squads. Difficult to pick a winner. And we saw that in round 1. 3 matches, all 3 teams ending up with 1 win each.
Absolutely. And the contest is very evenly fought. Everybody is in there. They're backing themselves. And I'm very proud of the way the Singapore unit has come out and fought. And I think Singapore cricket's on its way up.
A cover drive on the up there from Mutumbotsi. Didn't get enough on it to go past the boundary line. The fielder does well at long off to cut it off in 2 runs to Mutumbotsi. He continues to strike at run a ball. And the Sean Williams, captain, is slowly motoring along.
Yes, if these two manage to stay somewhere till the 17th, 18th over, Zimbabwe will put on nearly 190 runs. Two quality players.
190, Jamal. That's 100 runs in the next 8 overs.
Yes, it's very
You
possible.
think it's possible, yeah?
Short straight boundaries, two quality players, and a belt of a track.
We saw plenty of assistance for the spinners on day one on this track, but otherwise, it's pretty much been flat enough for the batsmen to express themselves.
Yes, now today we are playing on wicket number 1 here at the Singapore Indian Association ground. The first 2 games were played on the centre wicket or wicket number 2. Surprisingly, wicket number 1 usually gives a bit more assistance to spinners, but today's track, as you can see, it's a belt of a batting pitch, and it's excellent for T20 cricket. Karan KC continues.
He's so happy driving through the line there, Sean Williams. And that's only because he's looking in good touch, looking confident amongst the runs, especially after that innings in the previous game. 12 overs completed, 91 for 3.
Looks like Sompal Kami from the Rangoon Road end. He's been bowling some very important spells for Nepal, even in his previous visit down here. He's a fighter. I really enjoy watching this Nepal unit play. They are brilliant fielding side, lightning quick, especially in the in-ring. And Zimbabwe, I mean, they are top class side. And today, after the previous match, they are back with a vengeance, and they are showing their class and their quality. It's going to be an excellent contest. Going to go down to the wire, I feel.
Down the leg side, no, you don't want to be doing that to Sean Williams, and the form that he's in, he's going to clip you away for 4. Sompal Kami knows that. You can see the expression on his face. That says it all. Drifting down the leg side, and easy pickings for the captain. No one in the boundary line. So it meant 4 runs the moment it left the bat.
Sean Williams is playing an absolute captain's innings here. Had the opportunity to have a little chat with him before the game, and he was pumped up for this encounter.
It just feels like he's continuing from where he left off 2 nights ago. Sean Williams was very disappointed that his team could not cross the line despite an excellent effort with the bat and with the ball. Shot this time. Straight to deep square leg, though just a single. And for a good part of maybe 80% of that game, it looked like Zimbabwe had the game in their
position to maintain that required run rate throughout the game. I was having a chat with Adrian. It's a bit like in Jiu-Jitsu what you call a choke. You need to know when to close it. And Singapore hung in there, fought, and we never gave up, and we believed.
And I was just coming to that. 40 required in 30 balls. When every single bowler was going for over 10 per over, it almost looked like Zimbabwe going to seal the game. But what's important were the bowlers who mattered most believed that they could still do it from that stage.
Yes, we had the very experienced Amjad Mehboob. He plays all his domestic cricket on this track, so he knows it like the back of his hand. He's the prodigy of Saad Khan Janjua, our former captain, legendary fast bowler for Singapore. So he knows a few tricks. It all came in handy yesterday.
Shot again. Quick from Sompal Kami. Sean Williams was up to the task as well.
Good arm there from the deep. Suhan Bahari. Sean Williams is going to look to take this deep, and with the wickets in hand, Zimbabwe will look to put somewhere close to 190. 180 is about par on this track. Nepal employing a 5-4 field. on the offside. There's a deep third man, deep sweeper. Cover. Backup point. Mid-off. That was an ambitious shot. Rumbatsi, for the first time, looking to force an issue.
They still have Richard Mutumbami and Ryan Burl, the two stars in game number 1 that did it against this very opposition. So they have enough of ammunition left in the tank to Zimbabwe. So the question is, when will they shift gears?
Yes, I think what's important is the way that Sean Williams is batting. He needs to continue till about the 17th over.
An appeal for LBW, and up goes the finger. Finally, a good partnership comes to the end. Courtesy an excellent delivery from Sompal Kami, who's been excellent today.
Yes, that man Sompal Kami seems to strike when it matters most for Nepal. He's a fighter. Love watching this young man bowl. Zimbabwe losing a wicket exactly at the moment.
13 overs completed, 98 for 4. Right, back live here for over number 14, and a familiar face on your screen. Nepal's superstar, Captain Paras Katka, this time with the ball in his hand. We saw what he did with the bat the last time he held it. He took the cricketing world by storm, a remarkable T20 century. 106 not out in just 52 deliveries, striking at well over 200, 9 sixes, and he absolutely tore the Singapore bowlers all across the Indian Association here.
Yes, I think on that day, even if Singapore had scored 200, it would not have been enough. The way Paras batted, he batted brilliantly.
And there's a change in the batting as well. Ryan Burl, the new batsman, confident looking start, so it's now two left-handers, similar stance almost, you can say, the captain and Ryan Burl. It almost took me a second to wonder who was on strike.
Ryan Burl is the burlier of the two. Paras Katka, very smart, canny cricketer. Immediately realizing it's two left-handers on strike, bringing his wily off-spin into play. The Nepal boys were practicing here last evening. Looked in good spirits.
I was just going to say that he's probably bowling, like you mentioned, with two left-handers, so spinning away from the left-handers and enticing the edge outside off. But other than Sandeep Laminchane, I haven't necessarily seen too many spinners extract spin on this wicket.
Yes, Laminchane is a wrist spinner, and he bowls and puts a lot of revs on the ball. And if you see today, he wasn't looking to turn it big, but he was looking to bowl at a trajectory and speed that was much conducive for this track, which is his experience and class showing.
Absolutely. Out comes the reverse hit once again. And guess what? Successful this time as well. Full toss from Paras Katka. Sean Williams says thank you.
Class shot. It's not easy to hit those full tosses, especially when you're reverse sweeping. I can't manage it with a normal strike.
Mind you, Sean Williams scored 66 2 nights ago, and he's well on course in hitting another half century. This is just tremendous batsmanship here. Pure skill from Sean Williams. Reverse sweep once again.
And if you noticed, Paras, being the wily customer he is, he started his run-up well before Sean Williams had his head up.
Not giving any time, to the batsman. Captain versus captain. Quite a contest on our hands here. this time. No messing around from Sean Williams. And he probably is telling himself, this is the over. And guess what? It's half century number 2 in as many games for the captain of Zimbabwe. Right in the slot, and Sean Williams made no mistake.
Sean Williams absolutely smoked that. He's bowled him. Paras Katka has done it for his team. Removes the dangerous Sean Williams. And I can tell you once again, Paras showing his experience. Before the batsman was settled, he stuck that one in. Sean Williams will be disappointed.
Well, Sean will absolutely be gutted because he was seeing this ball as big as a football and he was striking it well. And he will unfortunately have to make the long walk back to the pavilion end. 14 overs completed, 112 for 5. Well, there's always something when Paras Katka has the bat or ball in hand, isn't it?
Brilliant. I love the way he used his experience and he really bought that wicket. Just stuck one past Sean Williams when he wasn't expecting it.
Slightly quicker, pushed that through, and did Williams for pace there.
Richmond Mutumbami walks out.
It was exactly this partnership, Chamal, on match number 1. I think they put on 70 or 80, if I'm not wrong, match-winning partnership that took them past the line.
Once again punched to sweep a cover for a single. It's interesting to see Abhinash Bohara. It's bowling cutters, which is a very good thing. He's taking the pace off the ball. He's trying to extract whatever assistance he can get out of this Singapore Indian Association track. And he's trying to make the batsman play into the longer part of the boundaries and not allowing them to hit straight on the shorter boundaries.
He is a death over specialist, and which is why Paras would save most of his overs for the latter half of the innings. And with 6 overs left and Bora having 3, hopefully we get to see him bowl out his quota for the first time, because Paras hasn't done that in this series.
No, it was a top-class knock by Sean Williams to stabilize Zimbabwe's innings when it was stuttering at the beginning, courtesy of Sandeep Lamishani's strikes. Now it's up to these two batsmen. They are more than capable. Class players, Ryan Burl and Mutumbami, take it to the end.
A solid strike there, just the single though. I was going to say that the game was almost evenly balanced at the time when Sean was in the centre, but may just be advantage Nepal a little bit at the moment.
Yes, now with 30 balls or 32 balls remaining after this, but still these two batsmen, they are very much capable of taking Zimbabwe past 180. But it'll be all up to Zimbabwe, to Nepal, how they bowl. There you go, wide as we speak. Wouldn't be too pleased with that. Abhinash Bohara, usually a very disciplined bowler, depth over specialist for Nepal. That's the job for his captain when he's asked to. Fighter. So Ryan Burl looks like a dangerous player. I like the way the Zimbabwe players are batting at the moment. Even though they have lost 5 wickets, they don't seem too flustered. They have been in this situation many a times, and that experience is really showing. They look calm, and the wicket's not doing anything crazy, so they would back themselves still. And then they are class outfit, and Nepal should not let their guard down.
All muscle there from Richard Mutumbami. Muscles it down the track, just the single though. 150, 160 still certainly on the cards, but that'll require a good effort from here on from the Zimbabwean batsman.
Yes, if they look to target 12 runs in the last 5 overs, that's 60. I'll take them to 177.
Once again down the track, will that find the boundary? Trying to find the gap between long on and long off. Well done at the boundary line there. Cuts it off for just a single.
This is what I love about Nepal cricket. They are brilliant fielders, great fighters, and they're showing that warrior spirit on the park today, throwing themselves around. At the end of 15 overs, Zimbabwe 117 for the loss of 5.
Well, we're back live with just the final 5 overs to go in the first innings. A change in the commentary box. It's going to be Timo Mavoyo, joined by Adrian Abraham.
Thanks, Navneet. Couple of runs off the first ball of that over. The captain, Paras Kadka, continues. Removed his counterpart, Sean Williams, in the last over, who was looking good. $118 for 5. And ball short of 5 overs to go to the end of the innings. Richmond Mutumbami looked good the other evening against Nepal. They'll know how dangerous he can be, especially at this stage. And want to see the back of him as soon as possible. Good evening, Adrian.
Good evening, Tino. Good start by Nepal. While Sean Williams was out there, it looked like Zimbabwe got themselves back into it, but it was these 2 men the other night who got Zimbabwe home, hoping that they will get them to a fighting total tonight.
In the air. And just over the man at long on for 6. Now that went very high and not as long as he would have liked. The man at long on interested for a very, very long time and just getting over the boundary for 6.
Hard was in his mouth there for a minute. Just came in too close. Down the leg side. We've seen how destructive he can be with the bat. Ryan Burl, effective with the ball as well. It's all about this partnership tonight, isn't it?
Low full toss. It's gone in the air. It won't carry to the man running round from deep square leg. He'll get just the single. Richmond Mutumbami will be disappointed because he didn't get all of that. Nicely done by Ryan Burl. Into the 16th, 130 for 5.
We look at the scorecard here. Zimbabwe batting card. Sean Williams leading from the front, 53. No one else there supporting him.
Be interesting little battle this. Richmond Mutumbami and Sandeep Lamichhane. Likes to take the spinners on towards the end of the innings. Plays the slog sweep well down the ground. We saw that the other evening. This time looking to play the reverse sweep. Not a shot I've seen him play a lot of. Happier seeing him go straighter.
Almost took his head off there with that throw. Had to duck for cover. How good has Sandeep Lamichhane been tonight, though? Just as he was in the first game, picking up crucial wickets. But Mutumbami has a job tonight to do.
There's that slog sweep. It's the thicker part of the bottom edge. Just the one. 132 for 5. Zimbabwe halfway through the 17th over. They'll really want to make sure they get past the 160 mark, get closer to 170 if they can. They're going to have to bat extremely well from here.
Just a single. We saw the other night when Singapore played Nepal that 150 wasn't enough. 180 on the other night was in 18 overs was also just enough. But on this track here at the Indian Association ground, I guess you never know.
Zimbabwe will definitely need to get early wickets. Nepal needed that against them the other day after they had a very quick start in the first couple of overs. Sandeep Lamichhane then came on and, as you said, crucial wickets early. Opens the face and just runs that down to third man. Despite the kick off the big boot, I'll just get one.
Just taking his time, Ryan Burl. You know how destructive he can be towards the back end of the innings. Just trying to see off Sandeep Lamichhane.
Good cricket. Very, very good cricket. It's a good over from Sandeep Lamichhane. Just 5 from it. 17 gone. 135 for 5.
Avinash Bora comes back into the attack. Good so far, economical. We saw some very, very good cricket in the last over. Ryan Bell just seeing off the dangerous Sandeep Lamachane. Nice to see good crowd come out here tonight on a Tuesday night at the Indian Association ground. Humid conditions out there, but pleasant.
I was out there a bit earlier when I got a break from the commentary box. Very pleasant. Nice fresh breeze this evening. That haze that we normally have above us here probably just clearing up a little bit because of the rain we've had over the last few days. Pushing the clouds away and nice fresh breeze. Good crowd that's come in this evening. The last couple of matches we saw in the first round, obviously a heavy crowd. The home team Singapore playing and registering that wonderful victory against Zimbabwe 2 evenings ago. But it looks as though the words got out and about here in Singapore. And the folks and fans coming out in their numbers here to the Indian Association ground.
Free entry for all. So if you're in Singapore, have nothing else to do on this Tuesday night, come down, watch a bit of cricket.
Good Yorker. I'm talking about Zimbabwe wanting to get to that 160 mark, past it if possible. If he continues to bowl like this, Avinash Bahara will make it very difficult for Zimbabwe. We saw him earlier on in the tournament and how good he is. Those balls full and straight in the Yorker area. Doesn't miss much. Again, right in that Yorker area. Richmond Tumbami only manages to squeeze it out for one.
Very interesting action does Avinash Bahara. And it's done him good. He's been effective with the ball. Getting his line and length right. As he comes up against Ryan Bull now.
We struck that straight back at Richmond Tumbami. No time to get out the way. It's lucky for Nepal as it hasn't ricocheted off into the gap towards the boundary. Firmly struck. No time at all. It's gone like a bullet.
It's got to hurt. Definitely feel that in the morning.
I think he's felt that now. Don't worry about tomorrow morning. Nicely played. Squeezed out to that vacant backward point area on the boundary. They'll come back for 2, Zimbabwe. 5 runs off the over so far. Couple of overs, couple of balls to go in the 18th. 140 for 5. Zimbabwe. They'll hope that these two can bat the majority of these remaining overs. Get a few boundaries, get Zimbabwe close to that 160, 170 mark. Again, beautifully bowled.
Really those Yorkers is Avinash Bora. You mentioned they will be looking to get as close to the 160, 170 mark. I think 160 is par on this ground tonight. Wanting to get towards as close to 170 as possible. Bit of a fighting total. Again, brilliantly bowled. Excellent stuff from Avinash Bora. $18 overs done. 142 for 5 Zimbabwe.
2 overs to go, 142 for 5 Zimbabwe. The captain Sean Williams with a good hand again, 53. PJ Moore looked destructive after his 21 from 12. Tino Mtumbudzi looked good until he was adjudged LBW of Sompal Kami for 20. Then Ryan Bull, Richmond Mutumbami will be hoping that they can step up the scoring rate for Zimbabwe. Try and get them a total they'll feel they can bowl at. Karen Casey. Oh, wonderfully bowled. Slow ball bouncer. Ryan Bull threw the shot before the ball was there. Important skills to have these, especially in these last few overs in T20 cricket.
Seen how effective they can be, particularly in the shortest format of the game. As you mentioned, slow ball, Yorkers. We saw that in the last over by Avinash Bora. Brilliant Yorkers.
That's well struck. There's 2 men back on that leg side boundary. But Ryan Bull has hit it in between the 2 of them. So an important boundary for Zimbabwe early in the 18th over. Takes the score to 146 for 5, and they'll be hoping that they can get a couple more in this over. Propel that scoring rate a little bit more in these last few deliveries.
Right in the slot there. Ryan Bull would have been licking his lips watching that. He gets off the mark with a single.
Richmond Mtumbami, explosive the other evening against Nepal to close up the innings, win the game for Zimbabwe with a good partnership with Ryan Bull. He got 40 in rapid time. Today hasn't been able to get the ball away quite as easily. Nepal bowlers have bowled good areas to him, set their fields right. Short. He's gone on the pull, top edge. It's going to fall safely. That square leg region. Good pace and bounce from Karan Casey. Getting on to Richmond Mutumbami. A lot quicker than he thought. Ryan Bull just going to have a bat change. Possibly just getting out a lighter bat so he can get the bat speed going as they conclude this first innings.
Can't get it away. Will just be the single. Been tough going for the batsmen out there tonight. We've seen the Nepalese bowlers really execute their plans well. The lone hand from Sean Williams. But there's a lot, not just for the spinners, but I feel the pacers as well. Good movement. If you get your length and line right, you'll reap rewards on this track.
It's well struck. There's a man back on the boundary. So will just be the single. A good over for Zimbabwe. 8 from it, 150 for 5.
Zimbabwe 150 for 5. 19 overs done. We'll be looking to get a big last over in here. Guides that to third man. Avinash Bora been brilliant tonight. 3 overs, just 16 runs conceded. 17 now.
Very impressive once again with the ball, Avinash Bora. Talking about Zimbabwe wanting to get past that 160 mark. He continues to bowl like he's done in the previous over in that Yorker length. It'll be very difficult for Zimbabwe to get there. Low full toss. Ryan Burl will be disappointed. He would have wanted to put that away. Leading edge. Just a single over the bowler's head. So just 4 balls to go in the innings, Zimbabwe. 152 for 5. And another decent partnership between these two. It's well struck. Very well struck. What he's done, Richmond Tumbami, is he's realized that he's bowling those Yorker areas well. He's just come down the wicket a little bit. Made sure he's converted those Yorkers into a low full toss. Good cricket. Nice and aware of what the bowler is trying to do and counteracting that. So an important boundary for Zimbabwe. Another full toss, but not able to get it over the boundary for 6. It's a good running catch from Sompal Kami. He'll be disappointed, Richmond Mutumbami. An opportunity to get that up and over the boundary. Just onto him a bit quicker than he thought, but that's a good catch to get rid of Richmond Mutumbami. It was starting to look dangerous. He goes for 17. Zimbabwe now 156 for 6.
Zimbabwe 156 for 6. 2 balls to go.
You'll look for 2 here, Ryan Burl. He'll get back comfortably. Tony Munyonga, new man at the crease. Just his 4th T20 international match for Zimbabwe.
Needs to go big here, Ryan Burl. Nepal have been excellent in the field. Great running catch by Sompal Sami just in front of us. Avinash Bora finally getting a wicket. Bowled well tonight. Where does he go here, Ryan Burl?
Will be called wide. Disappointment for Avinash Bora, looking just to bowl that at the pads, not give Ryan Burl any room to get under the ball. This time just a little bit too straight, so extra ball. Again, wonderful delivery. Zimbabwe will only manage 1 off the last ball of the innings. And you'd have to say that Nepal have been pretty good in the field. Good start once again from Sandeep Lamichhane, getting an early wicket for Nepal. And then the captain Paras Khadka ringing the changes throughout the innings and ensuring that they keep Zimbabwe to a very modest 160 for 6.
A brilliant performance by Nepal in the field tonight. Zimbabwe would have liked to get 10, 15 runs more than they have done. But excellent bowling from the Nepalese. They've been brilliant.
Right, so we're going to go away for about 10 minutes time. When we come back on the other side, it's the Nepal run chase. And this the 4th game of the Singapore Tri-Nations T20 International, powered by Instagram. This is